And if they read another, I've always wanted to be a doctor, they might toss it. One look and I breathe. You know when people say, I can't believe I recorded this video and nothing was recording, and you're just like, you lying, you lying, you lying. They ain't lying. I just recorded this video and nothing recorded. But now that we're here, we're gonna go ahead and start. Hey y'all, it's Dr. Dime. I'm a first year family medicine resident now, but I used to be exactly where you are, a medical school applicant, deep in the trenches of applications and MCAT studying and the whole nine. I was confused, I was broke, I was exhausted.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad!
And I was trying to figure it all out. If you're applying to medical school in 2025 or even just thinking about it, then this video is for you. I'm breaking down exactly how I got in, what worked, what didn't work, what I wish I had done differently, and how you can make it happen too. Even if you don't have the perfect GPA or the perfect MCAT score, especially if you come from a low socioeconomic background like me, or a first generation college student, medical student, or doctor like me. Let's start with the basics. What are schools looking for in 2025? Well, number one, and I know you've heard of it, the Medical College Admissions Test, or MCAT. A score of 510 to 512 is competitive for most MD schools in 2025. I know in the past we've seen that for DO schools, that average has been just a couple points lower. I feel like we're going towards the era where MD and DO have very similar cutoffs for those scores. So I would say I've started to see more similarities between MD and DO than ever. I don't really know when somebody has graduated with MD versus DO because everything is very similar in a lot of different ways. If you're below a score like 505, then you might need to show a strong trend upwards in your GPA, which we will talk about further in the video. But most importantly, if you are going to retake your test because you're not comfortable with your score, that's okay. But just make sure that you take your time, because with all of this, time is definitely on your side, and you'd rather be comfortable and confident going into test day and knowing that you'll do well rather than rushing and retaking and retaking and retaking just so you can get in. Next is GPA. About 3.6 and up is where you want to be, especially for your science GPA. So for GPA, that includes everything that you've done in college, and maybe even some courses that you've taken in high school, including courses like English or foreign studies. With your science GPA, those are the courses that are more specific to med school, like your biology courses, your chemistry, and your physics. But what matters even more than GPA is the trend. Are you trending upward or downward? Did you start strong but finish weakly? Or did you start off meh, but you've done so much better? I can tell you that it really looks good when you have a trend upward, or if you've been pretty steady and consistent throughout your years. But you definitely just don't want to trend down. So if you do catch yourself doing that, just make sure you go to tutoring and stay on top of it so you can get back on track. What I just don't want for you is for you to start off at a 4.0 and get so confident, and then you stop studying or you stop being as vigilant and you wind up with like a 2.8 or something. Let's talk about clinical experience. You should aim to get about 100 to 150 hours over the course of your undergraduate career. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but remember, this is over 4 years. And that's also including summers and vacations and times when you really had a lot of time to just be inside the clinic or the hospital or wherever you chose to be. You can volunteer at clinics, you can become a scribe, work in the hospital, be an EMT. I even did medical billing and coding. It really doesn't matter just as long as you get your foot in the door, because they will be asking for this on those applications. Also, shadow different specialties. Just because you want to go into orthopedics now doesn't mean that you'll feel the same way next year or even next month for that matter. So that way you can get exposure to different specialties, and you can also have a lot to talk about whenever it's time to apply. Don't box yourself in so soon. Let's talk about community service now. Do you volunteer? Do you volunteer? Schools want to see that you care about people. not just about being a doctor, because that's what we do it for, right? It's for the people.
It's not as
Gets
well.
the people going.
So you don't necessarily have to volunteer in like a hospital or anything, though. You can do whatever you like to do. If you like to read to children, you can volunteer reading to children. If you like to cook, you can volunteer in the soup kitchen. It doesn't matter. They just want to see that you care. And if you do tie that to your passion, to me, that's even better because it's showing that you're volunteering over something that you truly have a passion about and that you are able to stick to something and really give it your all. Let's discuss letters of rec. Who should you ask? Well, what should they say? What they gonna say? What you gonna ask? I don't know. Ask people who really know you. It's better to ask somebody that you've been working with over the whole summer versus someone that you worked with for a day. Because what they gonna write? They don't even know your name. All right. So this is your application and your story. This is where people can mess up sometimes because they list out their GPA and their activities like a resume, but really it's a story and you should treat it as such. For example, personal statement. Start with a real moment. Start with something interesting. Use hyperboles. Use metaphors. Use the things they taught us in English. Because by the time that the person reading your essay reads your essay, that's probably going to be like the 10,000th essay that they've read. And if they read another, I've always wanted to be a doctor, they might toss it.
Please get out of here. Get out of here.
You want to make yours stand out. I personally, I love to write. So I love to use all type of, it was a dark, gloomy day. But I had to tone some of that down because it's also not like fan fiction. But kind of tap into that writing aspect or that writing sense. And you can definitely get people to edit your personal statement and to read it. And they can be brutally honest with you and tell you if it's quite frankly boring or not. Your life is not boring. Anything can be boring, but anything can also be exciting. It's just about the way that you phrase it. And start with a real moment. For me, that was growing up in a low socioeconomic environment, like I mentioned, and it was also Hurricane Katrina. So I definitely leaned into those when it came to describing my ambition and why I wanted to even do this. And I never saw anybody that looked like me in the hospitals and things like that. So I really leaned into who I was and just was authentically myself. And you should too. Remember, make it emotional, make it grounded, and make it specific. Please do not say I've always wanted to be a doctor. Please don't.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No! No!
Next is the activity section. So you get 15 entries and you need to pick 3 activities to really expand on. Use the CAR method, the challenge, action, result method. That way you're not just saying what the activity was, you're saying what you've learned. And if you need more information about the CAR method, I will link that down below. Secondaries. You should definitely pre-write most of your secondaries if you can. So the ones that have the generic topics, common prompts like diversity, adversity, why XYZ school. This way you're maximizing your time and being very efficient because 9 times out of 10 you're going to get at least one of those prompts. When you're in the thick of it and you're getting like secondary to secondary to secondary back to back to back, it would be so helpful that you stayed ahead of the curve and you pre-wrote. And when it comes to that time, you can just edit what you already wrote. Be specific. If you're applying to a school that focuses on underserved care and you have given back to the underserved, say that. It's not bragging. They want to know. Okay, now let's talk about what I did and why it worked. Because trust, I didn't have a perfect application. But again, I was myself. I leaned into my community focused story. I really, really, really love to serve the communities around me and communities like the ones that I grew up in. So I said that. I got solid letters of recommendation from people who actually watched me grow. I got one from one of my mentors who still is my mentor to this day. She wrote one of my rec letters for medical school. She knew me really well. We'd known each other for years. Got a recommendation letter from a professor that has seen me grow as a student, who started off not that strong, quite frankly. But she gave me some amazing compliments in my fourth year, and I thought, fourth year of college, because I'm thinking about med school, but my fourth year of college. And I thought she would be the perfect person to write a recommendation letter. She was. I didn't try to fit into a mold of what a med student was, right? I just expressed who I was and why I would be a good doctor. That's it. Because quite frankly, there's already one of everybody else. So I wanted them to know that, hey, this is me. And if you have me on your team, if you have me in this school, I promise you I will put forth my best foot forward. And you will not be disappointed in choosing me. And that's the message that I wanted to convey. Now, let's be real. Again, I'm not perfect. So here's what I would do differently if I could go back. I would start MCAT prep earlier and with more structure. I was actually in a program at first when I was in undergrad. They had their own way of going about the MCAT that I had to follow to remain in that program. I wound up not being in the program shortly after because I couldn't follow it the way that they wanted me to follow it, the schedule. Honestly, I would start on like day one of college, and I would just start with like easy stuff, like just doing Jack Weston questions, just learning how to read articles better and learning how to really understand what they're saying. I found that I started doing these things in probably like my junior year. And why wait to junior year when you're like 2 years/2.5 years behind the ball? So I would just start earlier with doing MCAT questions. I would apply early. I did apply late. I applied in like, what was it? I submitted everything, but I hadn't taken my MCAT because I had to retake my MCAT. I hadn't taken that until like, I think September or October, something like that. That was way too late. I would not do that again. I would have everything submitted on pretty much day one that everything opened. I think the application opens around like June, something like that. So I would definitely have everything done by then. I wouldn't compare myself to students who had access to resources that I didn't. I wouldn't compare myself to students who come from a family full of doctors or had parents that went to Ivy League schools. Those playing grounds are a little different, right? And by a little, I mean a lot. So compare yourself to you. That's all that matters is you. It's your life, your application, your story. Who cares about the next person? Who cares about me, right? It's not even about me, it's about you. I would journal more. These moments, like, you're going to be able to look back at in times of stress and worry in the future, because there will be more worry and there will be more stress in the future. And when you journal or when you just write things down or document, it helps put things into perspective in the future, and you can really see how far you've come. And I would also protect my energy better. You do not have to tell anybody anything about your journey at all. Is not their business. It's your business. You don't owe anybody an explanation. If you failed the test, okay. If you didn't get in, okay. But you do not have to feel inclined to tell information or share information that you don't want to. If you feel comfortable doing that, that is fine. But if you don't feel comfortable doing that, please don't feel pressured into sharing in a space where you sharing something is very vulnerable, and quite frankly, that hurts. And now I want to take a moment to speak to a very specific group of people. If you're the first in your family to do this, and if you didn't grow up with access, or if you're coming from a background where medicine felt like a different world, I see you. You deserve to be here. You are not behind. You're bringing a different kind of help. Medicine needs people who know struggle and who know resilience. If you're watching this and you're wondering if you're good enough to apply, you are. Apply scared, apply tired, apply anyway. I applied with fear in my chest and faith in my gut. And look at where we are now. Thank you so much for watching. If this video helped you in any way, please like, comment, and put some questions down below. Subscribe. I'll be posting more med school content, more residency content, vlogs, short form content, long form content, hair stuff, anything that needs to be done, I do. I'll be posting more med school, residency, and soft life content because we deserve to thrive, and to heal. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for paying attention to this video and for watching. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will catch you on the next one. I gotta go. I gotta go do some work. I gotta study. I gotta just get it done. Bye.